More greetings. Happy Sunday, day of the sun to some people. I'm not sure if anybody was able to catch the live that I actually had just did for like 30 fucking minutes. Like I was legit talking for 30 minutes and I'm telling y'all y'all was getting it while it was so hot. Like really hot, but the one thing to always know is that time doesn't exist. So Eric Badu had a song that's called On and On, so that means this never stops. So it don't matter what they try to do to black me out. I was actually trying to attempt to talk about this while I was painting, but sometimes spirit wants you to give the message in a way that really captivates people. I was really trying to, paint a little bit because I did that a few days ago on my Instagram where I was like having a spiritual topic and I was painting and, kind of get my, insight. But it don't always work like that. Greetings and hello to all around the world, all nations. I always see you. I want to say I recognize you. Thank you for tuning in. I know a lot of people from India come in here, so hi to all of you who watch me. I do have the comments turned off. It's just my protection and your protection from spam and just inappropriate people who don't like what I talk about. But I wanted to go up here and discuss Magic and how it works with mind control and NLP, neurolinguistics programming and subconscious programming. Because I was watching a TV show today. I won't say the TV show, and I'm not going to put too much about it because I know folks, don't like a good spoiler alert, and I don't want to be the type that does the spoiler alerts because people get, annoyed by that, and I get annoyed when people do that. So anyhow, in the episode, there is this evil being that's in disguise in this entrapment of a world. And this evil being, if you know what I'm talking about, then you might not want to watch. This evil being that is in disguise as a young lady, she was um, using really ultimately a form of mind magic or just some kind of magic. This guy and her were drinking and they were talking, and see, he was intoxicated. And she found an opportunity to wait till he wasn't looking and put a little bit of something inside the drink. And when I was watching this, it reminded me of a situation that really happened to me. Now, I want to talk about real magic here and real agents that use magic, and I'm going to talk about it more in the near future, not right away, because I like to give myself a break. This is not a reading. um I want to give myself the time to really talk on real life experiences that have happened. And this only can really relate to a small few. Many are called, chosen are few. So it traumatized me a little bit because I was like, this really happened to me. And this is when I really started to learn about what magic is and what magic is not. This is going to be a very brief topic. I'm not going to sit up here long because I don't like to do that. So I was thinking about a time where I first moved in this apartment. I was moving out of an apartment on the other side of town, more downtown, and I just had to hurry up, after living in my mom's place for too long. And the lady across from my mother here, she, after 10 years of living in this apartment, was ready to move out, which for me worked itself out. And she was going to make sure that she vouched for me to get in this apartment. And I said, okay, that's fine. I'm cool with that. And she just kept hesitating for me to move in this apartment. And it was about the person that I'm going to, not talk about, but what they did and do. And I said, okay, don't worry. I've dealt with this, I've dealt with that. But she's 95-year-old lady, 95-year-old lady, right? Woman kept just telling me, "Are you sure? Are you sure you want to live downstairs from that?" That plays in my head a lot when she said that to me. I hear it every week. She says, "Are you sure you want to live downstairs from that?" And I was like, I don't have a choice. And so, long story short, I move in here, and he didn't talk to me. he didn't even realize or notice that I moved in the apartment down here because he assumed that I was one of her like kids or grandkids or something like that. And so my uncle innocently one day, because sometimes people assume that we're witches because we talk about spirituality, we do readings and yada 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 yada. So he buys me a door sign that says "Come sit a spell," and I didn't realize that when you do stuff like that, you kind of draw a little bit of attention because prior to me getting that door sign, I had seen this man and he looked at me in the hallway and he didn't realize that I was also able to do this. He was psychic scanning me. He looked at me like crazy and twisted, like just kind of just kept psychic scanning me up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And then he walked out and I was like, okay, well, fuck you too. Go fuck yourself. I don't care if you want to talk to me. But when I put that door sign up, I noticed that he wanted to communicate and start talking about stuff. And at the time, this is like 2021, 22, I think 22. I started talking, we're chit chatting, we're shooting the shit a little bit. And I'm like, okay, he's an asshole, he's weird, I know that. But see, at the time, I didn't realize that just because somebody's talking about metaphysical knowledge, quantum jumping, and time travel, and all the things that we enjoy talking about up here, like we know it all. I just thought that that was a good, cool guy. I was like, oh, okay, he might be a little cool, just not realizing that that's what agents do. They're hired actors, they're psychologists, they're who they are. He had also told me that he's a shaman. And you guys didn't get to hear this on my Instagram, but I was dropping on people that shamans in ancient times had to prove that they were shamans. See, this is why these people, to a degree, are protected and they do certain other things to stand protected. But see, this is how people get a title and probably not even initiated. They probably got through the three worlds and they think they're a damn shaman all the time. Back then, you had to prove to shamans and to that you were a shaman. Otherwise, they would unalive you, and they can do that. Shamans can unalive you back then. I can't speak for now. I don't know what happens behind the scenes of these higher up people. You can be unalive. So he told me he was a shaman. He did not hide to me what he was. But again, you guys and they them peoples, they were convincing to me and I didn't think about these types of things, just being kind of like open. And I knew when he invited me over to his home that I was putting myself at risk. I knew I was in danger. I'm psychic. I'm going to say it. I knew what was giving. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I had to experience this man on a spiritual level because I knew this had to happen to me. I knew it had to happen to me. I didn't know what would happen. So I went up the stairs and I went in his apartment. This was around the Easter holiday 2022, April 2022. And I go up there and this is where I want y'all to pay attention. Seriously, I'm so serious. If you're here this long or you'll watch this, please don't leave. I got up in his apartment and I sat on his couch. I remember it I'm just there right now. And he had his TV on. And I remember him already telling me he wanted me to start watching this show with him real quick that he watches all the time. I'm not going to tell you the show. He tells me, I want your perspective on this show. And see, what I didn't realize was that what he was doing is to begin the process of opening up my mind and start to use the neurolinguistics programming and subconscious programming and then on to the magic. He would tell me, "Here, I want you to get your perspective on this show. And we're going to watch three or like, I think about two or three episodes." I knew that was weird, but I was like, okay, I'm a TV guy, whatever, I'm gonna watch it. So I'm sitting on the couch, and then this is where the magic, and I want y'all to listen to me. This is where the magic begins. See, a lot of people think that magic is candles, chanting, spell work, symbols, incense. See, what he had done before I had got there was already made his offerings to whomever he works with. And see, when you all are coming from an indigenous background, and especially African Americans, Latinos, whomever other indigenous folks, you are sometimes unaware because we live in a space where we're not embraced to live our real culture. I did not realize, and many of us don't realize, we come from the priestlyhood and priestesshood and of other shamans also. And because you don't know that, you don't know how a ritual begins from a more indigenous, shamanic art form. So he begins to hand me a cigar. I don't have no idea why. I just know he wants to have me light this cigar and start to puff on it. So this guy is showing me to puff the cigar. I'm not realizing that I am giving the space of opening up. I'm opening up this space for whatever African spirits, whatever other indigenous entities or wicked entities that he has already initiated this magical ritual to happen. I'm opening up this space unconsciously as the priest or the shaman, the real priest and the real shaman who is unaware that that's who you are, but the agent who has studied more than me knows that. So I'm sitting there and I'm puffing the cigar, opening up the space, not even knowing what the fuck is happening, but I know something is happening, right? So this person gets me to watch this program. And I remember he asked me, "Hey, do you want some tea?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll have some tea." And he said, "Do you want a little bit of vodka in the tea?" I said, "Oh, sure." Not realizing what was really getting ready to happen. See, for all of you who want to do ancestor work and do magic rituals, because see, some of the people that left, they not ready for real magical conversation. They don't know about this. When you are doing libations for your ancestors, and I know, and some of you know this, some of you don't. You drink the liquor. Sometimes you got to really drink it and not spit it out because see, that's the real offering. That's the real libation. So I drink this stuff, and I started realizing. I said, this doesn't feel like it's liquor in here. It doesn't even taste like it's liquor in here. And for all I know, he might have even spit in it real quick and chanting something in his mind, or even out loud, but most likely in his mind. And I had no idea. And I'm just sitting there, with him, and he's chit chatting, we're reflecting. And this is again where the theta hypnosis begins. See, this is the neurolinguistics programming part and the magic happening all at one time. Because, see, I know you want me to see you and talk about the fun stuff that people talk about and bullshit on here about. So then we sit there, we chit chat. I noticed that the drink didn't taste right, it just tasted a little too plain, huh? Something in the milk wasn't too clean. It just was kind of weird. And I said, okay, I'm going to drink this still. Again, I know I have to experience this because, see, some of us are born double agents. Anyhow. And I'm sitting there letting him talk and talk. But what he does, and this is where I got fucked up, y'all, because I didn't know about a lot of things like this. He starts to show me a video of syncopation. I I was never familiar with syncopation. I just see that people use drumming, in salsa, African, which is ultimately the origins is, from out of African spirituality. And of course, in Voodoo and in Haitian Vodou and in Santeria, you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm talking about, right? Because see, a motherfucker can't sit down and start motherfucking drumming in front of you because it's a little weird, isn't it? So this is how this man began the ritual. He's showing me syncopation, and I'm just watching the people on the video doing the drumming and certain rhythms, and you have to be able to listen to the sounds of the drums and what's happening. And he started to speak about mathematic metal music for the people that need to listen. Mathematic metal music, also known as really death metal, y'all. And he's showing me this music and how these people are, eating each other up. In other words, his perspective as an agent, his perspective as an agent is showing me this heavy metal music, this music video where the humans turn into like flesh eating zombies. And this guy is sitting up on a throne looking at the humans eat each other. He's showing me this first as an initiation to the magic that's happening to me and the neurolinguistics programming that's happened to me. Because see, I ain't gonna be sitting up here bullshitting too long. Like I probably got possibly 10 minutes. So he starts showing me that. And I'm like, okay, this is fucking weird, but I'm just going to walk with it. So what he does that really, really, really fucks me over, and this is when I'm caught. I'm already caught because I drank the juice. I drank the Kool-Aid, y'all. Yes, I did. And I'm gonna drink the Kool-Aid. He's showing me this bullshit where he fucks me up, and I want the people that are serious about this conversation to hear me. I am taught by this man to start listening to these different songs by this group in particularly. I'm not gonna say the group because I don't want y'all to get fucking crossed up like that. So he's like, this is how syncopation works with guitar sounds and bass guitar sounds. He starts showing me, and this is really the subconscious programming and me being in a hypnotic state. And already the magic has happened. The intentions are there. But see, now my brain got to get in a certain position, huh? So he's showing me how to listen to each and every guitar note at one time with different frequencies and different notes, both slow and fast, both heavy and a little bit more clean. Do you understand what's happening right now? If you don't, I can't help you. So then, after a while, after he's shown me all this, I notice his energy. I instantly psychically know his energy has shifted. And next thing you know, he kind of gets like real dickhead like, and he's kind of like, okay, I'm tired. I'm gonna just play a little guitar, you know, go on your way, little boy. So I'm like, okay, fuck it. I'll go downstairs to my mom. We finishing up cooking for Easter. Fast forward 2 weeks later. It's daylight just like it is right now. Beautiful day, beautiful spring day. And you all, I kid you not, I'm in my mother's house. I start feeling weird. I start feeling like I'm in a prison, like a literal prison. And I'm in my mom's apartment, y'all. I start feeling like I'm in a literal prison. Like in my mind's eye, I'm in a confined prison. Like I can see like plastic. I felt entrapped. I felt like my family and I were in a literal prison, kind of like the that movie with Jim Carrey where he doesn't realize he's in a bit of an assimilation. He doesn't know that. I started feeling like that guy, and I needed a walk. I remember I walked outside, and in the air it smelled like embalming fluid. It was a weird odor. And I was like, why do I smell that? And I'm walking, y'all. I'm walking. And I get to the front entrance of where I live. And I swear, this is not the psychosis. This happened. Because, see, even though you're going through psychosis, you are still seeing something real in between it. And you have to remember the parts that are real if you're able to. Because, see, for some people, this shit is not what they want to hear. And I'm sorry for you. But for the people, you better listen. I noticed that there's a white line of like heavy salt. It's not even really like salt, it's like some heavy white powdery shit I've never ever seen. And I've done some stuff myself. And I knew that I couldn't cross it. And I'm going through the psychosis. I'm going through it. And I'm walking back to my mother's and I'm just feeling sick and I'm feeling bad. So my sister's like, you coming with me. And I was like, okay, well, I'm able to leave from this entrapment. My sister takes me to her apartment. She, wraps me up good in a blanket. Her and the kids, they're kind of helping me feel a little bit better. She's got, spiritual prayerful music and sounds and prayer, videos in my ear. And that actually helped that night. And I was able to go home. The next day, we lost a loved one. So I was kind of like feeling like me, but I didn't realize no, I wasn't. So that we deal with the process of losing a family loved one, and right after that, I would say not even barely a week, it starts to happen again. And this time, what happens? The heat is cranked up a little bit more, and I'm certain that he had already started working on me a little bit. Cause see, they start to do the work behind the scenes. You ain't gonna see the real work. So I start feeling that funny feeling again, y'all. And this time, I mean, I can't explain to you, but let's just say I lost control of my literal faculties. Oh yeah, I lost control of my literal faculties, and I had to get some treatment, and I was treated. And I can't tell you because it's just a lot. to process when you go through these things. So I get the treatment that I need. I get, the medical treatment that I need, and I come home. And this will go on, y'all, from 2022 till I'm gonna say about 24. And yes, I had a mentor. Excuse me, I still have one, and good spiritualist. I'm not gonna give too much of my business away, and it's good to have those people in your corner because not everybody's gonna be able to get through this like me. So what would happen is this man, of course, would come into my dreams. He would do manipulative things. He would hire dark, negative spirits, paralysis spirits, and that's just the bullshit part because that's how they do that. But psychologically and emotionally, that's the real magic happening, and how they got a hold on you a little bit, and you have to learn a bit of things to kind of treat that. And on the physical side, what was happening in my life? My family and I were arguing more to the point where we want to fight sometimes, and also he would start talking to each and every single person that encountered my mother's home. And see, you can only talk to people so much and say, listen, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but that guy is trying to cross you. And I kept telling them. And eventually I just learned to say, you know what? Sometimes you just got to focus on you. And I got, thank God, in a space with my support system where I was able to learn how to spiritually, mentally, emotionally conquer. And yes, I have conquered. And I was instructed to do a few things. I had to learn a few things. I had to unlearn a lot, relearn what I thought I knew, study about African spirituality and African culture, and not just talk about it in Africa, studying about syncretism, and learning about Black culture and other cultures too, because you have to be able to gain knowledge and vibrate higher in order for you to even snap out of being able to get crossed up like that. See, that man really crossed me up because I did not realize everybody that talks about spirituality is not genuine. And everybody that comes into contact with you is not always who you think they are. And again, I'm going to have another conversation on when I first started to deal with agents and yes, real demons because that motherfucker is not just an agent. He's also pretty demonic. And I'm not kidding when I tell you things like that because I can't give it all. See, you got to sometimes really live. Evil is live backwards. You have to really live evil to know when it's in your face because everybody talks about the veils have been lifted. Those veils, I can tell you the date and when it happened in another video in about 2011 when the sky cracked and half of it was dark and half of it was light and some people might have thought it was just an eclipse. Yeah, anyhow. That's when people were able to really start seeing these people in human form. And sometimes when you're going through psychosis or just certain situations, they can easily manipulate you because they're doctors, they're lawyers, they're social workers, they're your neighbors. They can do that. That's what an agent does. I'm not just talking because I have lips. This guy I had to really conquer. Like at this point, I mean, like I don't even feel him. Even though I know that he's so low vibrational. I can state this. This motherfucker is so low vibrational. It's just to the point where he's a pervert and just tends to kind of be obsessed with me. If I'm gonna get real with y'all. Because see, for those who think that using NLP or any kind of form of evil, dark magic does not have a consequence, guess what? When you're trying to, do things like obsessively control a person or make them, have certain types of situations, I'll say, guess what? As above, so below. As within, so without. Do you think you can play and not and you can get away with these things? I'm only giving you half of the story. For those who this have captivated and who it will captivate, I'm so grateful that you're here because you are meant to be here. You are meant to hear how magic with a K, real magic really works because a lot of people are not going to get the message. For the lack of knowledge, you already know the rest. I'm not going to, regurgitate what I hear sometimes. But for real, y'all, for the lack of knowledge, you will really get crossed out here. Get yourself small fundamentals of knowledge. Really get yourself moving in a higher frequency because I'm gonna put y'all onto a little secret of how I really got crossed up in that situation with that agent. When we are around here thinking we know what we're doing with magic and we're in love or we're obsessed about a situation and you're out here playing around with these Play-Doh fucking witch doctors and root workers online and even some of the people we grew up with, they don't teach you the right way. I was sitting here trying to get somebody a little obsessed with me. Hmm? And I hope they don't ever see this, and I hope they don't know I'm talking about them. I was trying to get them a little bit obsessed with me. And I believe that it did work, but it wasn't in the way that I wanted it to work. And what happened was I got more obsessed and they got a little bit more stressed. And guess what? I opened up a space to attract an agent. Y'all better learn about these things because I'm about to close out. And for those who didn't get a chance to see me talk about this from the top, I'm about to post this up because it's not something I'm bragging about. I don't want followers to keep following me if they're not going to hear the word. I'm not charging you. I don't charge for anything. I'm literally here just to be of service. I promise. Listen to this in its entirety. Run it back. Listen. And for the ones who want to see the readings that I did about the month of June, run back that reading and a few readings prior. Because for the folks that got to see that reading about, a couple and a female energy, even though there will be a few, you're going to already begin to confirm with me that something happened a little last night with a celebrity, right? That had a little afro wig on, who was up there shooting shots with their words. When the time come, and when spirit tell me to, I ain't gonna talk about names, but I'm gonna return to where I left off with those readings when they manifest. Because you're already starting to see how in that world and in that space and those people that play, what's happening. So for those who want to catch me and continue to catch these types of talks, readings, topics, real life jewels, come back. Or just watch first. Get to know me a little first. I know I got a little too deep on that. I'm just kidding. But just come back. You'll get more. Peace.